What's going on, traders? It's Andrew O'Connell with Pristine Capital coming at you with yet another market recap video. It is May 13th, 2021. Please click the like button on this video and subscribe to my channel if you enjoy this content, and I will continue to make it for you. Today, we're going to talk about the price action in the indices. We had a nice bounce today in the market. We're going to go under the hood and check out our sectors and the style factors. We'll talk about some of my trades for the day, and we'll wrap up with our options order flow. Before we jump in, quick risk disclaimer, nothing in this video should be construed as investment advice or recommendations. Please follow your own trading plan and your own risk parameters. And last but certainly not least, do not YOLO your entire account into any one of my trades. All right, so let's jump in here. Let's take a look at the price action. So S&P 500, let's go through our box scores first. We had the S&P 500 is measured by the SPY. Closed up 1.2%, so nice bounce day. NASDAQ QQQ finished up 0.77%. We had the IWM small caps close up 1.84%, and we had the Dow Jones close up 1.32%. So taking a look here at our S&P 500, coming into today, we had a multi-standard deviation event over the course of the last 3 trading days. So coming into today, I was expecting a bounce in the market. And you can see we actually tagged below this 50-day simple moving average. We flushed below it in the pre-market session. Then we pretty much ran up over the course of the day. You can see we explored in this monthly value area. We actually tagged this 5-day exponential moving average. We didn't close quite on the highs, but you can see we closed right inside this monthly value area. So I would not be surprised if in tomorrow's session we kind of dance around this, we undercut it, what have you, but we did get our big bounce for the day. Looking at our hourly chart, you can see we have this weekly value area that's right here at 41.75. I wouldn't be surprised if we make an attempt at that level in tomorrow's trading session. So I'm actually going to set an alert there right now. There we go. Yeah, around that level. So yeah, we got a nice little bounce. Another thing here, if we look at our VIX, VIX came off quite a bit today, down 16.17%. So you can see we had a nice little wick on yesterday's candle, and today we had the puking in the VIX. So in my opinion, I think this vol event related to like the inflation scare, by and large, I think it's over. You can see the VVIX as well put in a big red candle after a huge extended range green candle the other day. So who knows, maybe that was our little capitulation event, really just in the short term. Looking at our NASDAQ doesn't look all that great here still. So you can see in terms of the closing range, we closed well off the highs in the NASDAQ. We made an attempt at that 5-day exponential moving average, but could not hold those gains. And as of right now, this downtrend in the NASDAQ is still intact here. So the NASDAQ, this one still looks like it's in pretty dire straits. I think that VPOC could be in sight down here at 12,857. Been talking about this one for a couple days now. I think this one could still get tagged at some point. So yeah, technology still doesn't look good at all. Looking at a Russell, very strong today, up 1.88%. This one also, though, in terms of the trend, just doesn't really look all that great. Maybe we can make an attempt at this monthly value area, but this one, yeah, good bounce, but I would have to see more to get really excited about the small caps. And then the index that does, in my opinion, look the best here is the Dow Jones. So you can see the Dow Jones traded all the way up. So we traded below the monthly value area, below the 50-day in pre-market. We explored the entire monthly value area and we closed inside value. So just below the 20-day simple moving average and 5-day EMA. Yeah, Dow Jones looking pretty strong on a relative basis here. The other thing I noticed today was that treasuries were bid. So yeah, we got some PPI numbers this morning. It looks like they were already priced in though. And these 10-year treasuries closed up 0.23%. So that's definitely something I wanted to see for some stability in the market. Let's take a look a little bit deeper here. And you can see So in terms of market breadth, really nice breadth today for the first day in maybe 3 or 4 trading sessions. So you can see S&P 500, really nice breadth, 88% advancers, and the Dow Jones, 97%. There was only one decliner. One thing I'm keeping in mind for tomorrow, Disney, which is in the Dow Jones, they reported earnings after the close. They were a bit of a disappointment, and Disney closed, I think it's trading in after hours down about 4%. Pretty much every name that has reported earnings has been, a sell-off. So even like SONO, I put that one on for earnings yesterday. SONO had a stellar earnings report. They raised their guidance again. Sonos was up in the pre-market. It was up when we started the session, but pretty much like every bit of good news, unless it's like a blue chip company, has been like, oh, okay, we're going to use this to just sell into it a little bit and like degross our exposure. So, yeah, that's kind of the market environment that we are in right now. Now, let's take a look at our heat map. You can see nice bounce across the board here. A lot of these names are just very oversold in the short term. You can see here energy was weak. Most of these names closed red, and Tesla closed down 3.08%. So Tesla is kind of like this canary in the coal mine right now, and it is dragging down the ARK funds and really just all these momentum names as a whole. So you can see Tesla closed at around like $573, closed below that 200-day simple moving average. If we look at the ARK fund as well, ARK fund is still weak. This thing closed down 2.62%. So it seems like, in terms of like the deleveraging that was going on and just all the forced selling, that had a bit of a pause or a break, and the markets, closed up. But in terms of a lot of these areas that have been the most problematic, those really aren't catching any sort of break. And they are still, selling off, making new lows, etc. So if we look at our sector sheet here, we can get a little bit more detail into what I was just saying. Let's look here. Yeah, so in terms of sectors, the gold miners are still in our top slot in terms of momentum. We have energy, which was down on the day. But the best performers today, you can see these regional banks were up 3.35%. What else was up big? Home builders. I actually took a position in the home builders today. This capital markets ETF looks pretty good. And then the laggards, pretty much all these ETFs that fall in that momentum style factor. So it's still getting crushed. You can see KWEB was down big. The blockchain ETF was down big. There was the headline that, Elon Musk said Bitcoin takes up too much energy and they were not going to be accepting Bitcoin for Teslas anymore. So, that is what it is. Elon Musk, he just moves the market with everything he tweets. Like, if he says, like, oh, yeah, Bitcoin is the next best thing since sliced bread, Bitcoin is going to go up. Vice versa. If he says something bad about it, it's going to go down. Same thing with Dogecoin and really anything that Elon Musk tweets about. Elon Musk, in my opinion, he's like the most like Wile E. Coyote on Wall Street. It seems like every quarter, him and his company, they're always jumping from cliff to cliff. So like the main reason they hit their profit target for their quarterly earnings was because they swing traded Bitcoin. Like they bought it and then they sold it, and that added to their net income. So yeah, Elon Musk, like whenever he tweets, like it's so like I never really like trust what he's saying. Like I know he almost always has some sort of ulterior motive. So I really don't know what that is now. But yeah, the Bitcoin market and really crypto as a whole really took a hit today. So we look at Bitcoin, closed below this monthly value area. Bitcoin was staging a bit of a recovery. We had Rick Ryder from BlackRock say, hey, I think this is important. I think Point72 Asset Management said that they were going to be investing in crypto. But yeah, when Elon Musk tweeted that, that really just brought this thing down. So we had Bitcoin correcting, and then we had Ethereum correcting as well. Yeah, even though Ethereum, still riding pretty high, to be honest. So let's see. But yeah, we have that weakness in the ARC complex. Yeah, and really just this entire momentum bucket. Let's see our style factors here. So best performing style factor was the cyclicals today. You can see up 2.36%. And then you can see a high div, low vol did well also. The weakest, like I said, was the momentum style factor, barely positive, up 0.29%. Let's take a look at some of my trades for the day. So let's pull up here. Let me just take a snapshot of this. And then we'll take a snapshot. There we go. Now I'll take this one as well. All right. Yeah, so in terms of options trades, I closed out my SONO earnings trade for $465. I had paid $485 for that one. So small loser on the Sonos earnings trade. This one, I think there were some good characteristics. I think it was a good trade to take. Really the difference on this trade, I took the trade yesterday in the morning before this huge sell-off. If I had taken this trade into the close, this one could have been, a pretty big, sizable winner. But yeah, Sonos had a great report, great earnings, great revenue, beat estimates, raised estimates, closed up 7.43%, but still in the grand scheme, I think it's just there's a lot of weight on these names now. There's probably a lot of people underwater, a lot of people that are fearful in the market. You still have these names that are selling off big. So I essentially scratched that one very early in the morning. I was like, okay, I'm selling this thing because, the great results, they're just being sold right off the open. Same thing like Upstart. They had great results the other day too. And Upstart, just getting absolutely demolished. So I think it's just, there's this gravitational pull on these like momentum, smaller cap stocks that is just, the market is selling them on a net basis at the moment. Now let's see what else we had here. Blade. So this was a name I had stopped out of a couple trading sessions ago, and I got a chance to take a bite at it even lower. So I got long the August 20th, 7.5 strike calls for 69 cents. Blade. This one, oh my gosh. So Blade, they have like $385 million in cash on their balance sheet from their SPAC transaction. And I believe at $10 a share, the company is valued at like $825 million. So this company, I did the math. When I purchased these, the price was around like $6.50. Like, geez, this thing at $6.50, it has a market cap of $536 million. And about $385 million of that is just cash on the balance sheet. So literally, like, their actual business is being valued at, like, it's ridiculous. It's being valued at like $151 million at that price. And they had, I think it was like $26 million in revenue, and they're using this SPAC cash to invest, and they're targeting like $400 million in revenue within a few short years. This one, I was like, okay, I'm going to purchase these call options because I think this is just very oversold here. And I think this one is just getting caught up in sort of like this liquidity cascade. I found out today that ARC is actually the largest holder of Blade. They have like a 10% stake. So I was like, oh, okay. So as ARC gets liquidated, they have to sell this one. So yeah, I think this one's getting pretty distorted and kind of messed up in the short term. So I bought those 7.5 strike calls, and it's really just like, hey, in case this one just like catches a little bit of ground or like, stabilizes a little bit, I think the reasonable value for this one is a bit higher than where it is right now. So we'll see. Yeah, I like that trade though. And then let's take a look. So we had that. Then I got long some JPM August 160 strike calls. And JPM is looking pretty solid here. So JPM, I really like this pattern where we had a market sell-off. This has really just been consolidating sideways, and it's putting in this high base pattern here. So yeah, I really like JPM, and especially if we get more of those inflation concerns or people want to place their chips into that style factor that will benefit from inflation. You know, these banks could continue to perform. So yeah, I bought those 160 strike calls for August. Now let's see, maybe we get a push up to this R2 pivot around like 166.54. So I'll be looking for that. And then in terms of some stock trading, I got long some FCX stock. And this one is a copper company. Let's take a look here. Copper has been on a really nice tear. And this is Freeport Moran. Yes, this is a materials name within the copper space. Yeah, it's a copper miner. So if we look at FCX, this one couldn't really get much steam today. This one closed down on the day, down 1.82%. But I'm going to hold this one into tomorrow's session and just kind of see if this one can catch its bearings. If we look at copper, copper closed down only 0.2% today, and copper just continues to kind of grind higher. So we'll see how copper does in the days to come. I'll purchase some common shares there. And then what else did I purchase common shares in? Yeah, I got long both Bitcoin and Ethereum. So I bought the Bitcoin Investment Trust. I bought the Ethereum Trust as well. And unfortunately, I put these on like literally like 1 minute before the Elon Musk headline dropped. So that was just kind of like bad timing, to be honest. But let's see here. Look at our crypto. This is like some live quotes here on Finviz. So Bitcoin, when I put on that trust, it was trading around like 50,000 or like 50,500, I think. Even though we had that headline, like at one point when I was in this today, I was like, geez, it went down to like 47K. I was like, are we really doing this? Like, did I buy like 2 minutes before the headline that actually like crashes the Bitcoin market? So I was of the mindset like, okay, I need to potentially stop out of this if that's the case. After that headline, though, you can see Bitcoin's pretty much unchanged from where that headline dropped. So maybe that was just like the final shakeout, but I still feel comfortable with Bitcoin. And then Ethereum, I rode this one from about, I bought down here in this consolidation, and then I sold my Ethereum up here in one of these candles, a couple days ago. So Ethereum, I was like, okay, I'm going to add back to my Ethereum. That was, a nice winning trade for me. So on this dip, I'll take a position. And then what else did I do? And then the other trade that I did, I put on the home builders. So I put on this XHB. XHB closed pretty close to the highs. Looks like there was some profit taken into the close. But the home builders have been one of the strongest areas of the market. And the home builders, you can see, pretty much climbed their entire way through this, monthly point of control, as well as this monthly value area. You can see we closed just inside value. So we'll see if we can get that break higher tomorrow. But in terms of the setup for tomorrow, one thing I noticed was like coming into this session, it was just like everyone is buying puts. This transitions over to the options order flow here. So yesterday it was like, okay, big put volumes. Looking at this equity put to call ratio, we registered a 0.63 reading yesterday, which is, you can see literally the highest reading year to date. And this 9-day exponential moving average of the put to call ratio is also the highest it has been year to date. So at this point, like, I get it. Inflation fears are very scary. We kind of did slip into the abyss there for a little bit. But at a certain point, it's like when everyone buys puts all for the same reason, day after day after day after day, at some point it's just like, all right, now everyone's hedged. Now everyone kind of like puked up their exposure. Like, what do you want to do now? So yeah, we'll see. We had that equity put to call ratio reading come in very high. And then I must say, when I look at this options order flow today, it's very bearish overall. So pretty much like throughout the entire day, it was a lot of puts going up into this market strength. And that's one of my favorite setups, when all you see is puts coming down, even though the market just bottomed. So yeah, Tesla, Apple, a bunch of these off the open. Looks like there was some bullish Tesla call activity though. Las Vegas Sands, some 60 strike calls going up for August. Let's see Las Vegas Sands. LVS. Oh yeah, LVS is taking a big hit here. A lot of these names, like LVS, there's been some pretty severe technical damage done here. So they might take a while to repair, because this is, a huge downside move. Like, the thing is, even though the SPY, it's like, all right, we're down a couple percent from the all-time highs. But when you look under the hood, a lot of these different areas of the market have been just like cratering for weeks and weeks and weeks. So like, yeah, this is not really a good look. But yeah, you can see small caps puts going up into the strength, Qs puts, more Qs. You can see there's some calls sprinkled in though. And then at the end of the day, that's when I think people were like, oh, okay, we're actually doing this. Okay, it's not bearish anymore. So you can see more Tesla, some Uber. What is this SLB? Oh, Schlumberger. Okay, it's an energy name. Yeah, this one's consolidated nicely. And then we had some options going up into the close for financials. And then we had Amazon, big order for Amazon come in. Let's see Amazon. This name was showing some relative weakness today. Yeah, red candle, only up 0.3%. Yeah, so we'll see what happens into tomorrow. I would not be surprised if we get some more strength into the weekend, to be honest. And I think for the S&P 500, we could end up testing that 4140 level. But as always, just have to keep an open mind. With that being said, that about does it for this market recap video. Hope you all had an awesome trading day, and I will see you all tomorrow.